Hi there, my name is Raven, and I'm the host of Adventures in Nursing and Beyond. I'm a nurse who loves to help new nurses find their voice. You can find me most days scrolling Instagram for new recipes to try and helping my middle schooler conquer sixth grade math. But each week, I'll be popping into your ears to teach you how you can navigate your new nursing career and sharing behind the scenes on others who've done the same. On this week's episode, I want to discuss the importance of making rounds on your patients. When working, I have a routine I stick to. I greet and introduce myself to the off-going nurse. I ask if he or she is ready for a report, or do you need more time? If they are ready, then let's roll and get to it. We'll count the narcotics, go over a report on the patients. I go room to room greeting my patients briefly when I arrive at work. If the nurse isn't ready for me, I'll make my rounds first. I do this for several reasons. One, I want to make sure all my patients are alive and accounted for, seriously. Number two, if the doctor or family member calls before I start giving meds, I can at least say, yes, I saw them and how they are doing. So one day I picked up a shift, an agency shift, at the nursing home in the surrounding area. When I arrived, I introduced myself to the off-going nurse. I could see she was really busy, running behind, and was also training someone. She made it very clear from the start that she was not ready and would not be ready for a while. My intuition kicked in, and it was nudging at me, telling me that today was going to be one for the books. And it was. I went ahead and began rounds, going room to room, and I found a patient who was actively trying to kill himself by wrapping his call bell around his neck. I got the nursing assistant to come into the room while I went back to the nurse's station to report to the nurse on duty what was happening. Her response was he does this all the time and stated maybe he will succeed at it this time. I was stunned by her response and lack of concern. This is when I should have exited stage left. Seriously, I should have left. I had not received report, had not been given the keys, and we had not counted any narcotics. However, out of genuine concern, I stayed and went back down the hall to check on the patient. The nursing assistant had taken the call bell from the patient, but she had also left the room. And the patient somehow managed to get his hands on the electrical cord for his bed and wrapped it around his neck. It was turning a shade of purple I've never seen before. We were able to unwrap the cord from around his neck. Again, I told the nursing assistant, please stay with him and do not leave him alone under any circumstances. I went back to the nurse's station, found a transfer pack, and began the process of sending the patient to an emergency room to be evaluated and hopefully transferred to a psych inpatient facility. The nurse, who still had not given me report, transferred the keys, questioned what I was doing, and said, you cannot do that. You didn't speak to the doctor or get an order. I simply told her I was using my nursing judgment. After the ambulance picked up the patient, I notified the doctor and the family of what transpired. About this time, it's an hour into the shift, and I still need to get report. We still need to count narcotics, and this takes us a good 45 minutes. I'm already behind before I even get my day started. What upset me most about this situation was the lack of concern for the patient and the fact that she was training someone, and neither one of them offered to assist. I have learned over the years that the best practice is if I'm doing something at the end of the shift when it is time to begin report, it's best to just stop and give report to the oncoming nurse, count narcotics. That way the oncoming nurse can begin her shift and I can finish up whatever I need without being interrupted. The transfer of care does not begin without receiving report and handing over keys. Now imagine what would have happened in this situation if I had not made a round and waited to see the patient when I arrived at his room to give him his medication, which could have been up to 2 hours. The story doesn't stop there. One particular patient was so upset because I ran behind in administering his medication that when I walked into the room, he threw a full cup of water at me. He missed. The cup hit the wall. When the patient saw the look on my face, he tried to say it was an accident. But I knew better. Honestly, I did lose my cool for a moment. I remember walking up to the patient slowly, but as far as what was said will stay between me and him. When I walked out of the room, all the staff were looking my way, but again, no one came to see what all the commotion was about. This was the last time I worked at this particular facility. There was no amount of money they could offer me that would entice me to put my nursing license in jeopardy by working there. So some of the things that I want you to remember, takeaways, always check on your patient. Do your rounds. It's best to do walking rounds or report with the off-going nurse. Use your nursing judgment. Sometimes you have to do things out of order to do the right thing. Until next time, it's Simply Raven. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Adventures in Nursing and Beyond. Make sure to rate and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. New episodes are dropping each week, and I can't wait for you to tune in. Until then, have an awesome week.